Garmagat Slaskakorla, and good afternoon, Taoiseach. Taoiseach, I want to raise with you today a matter of national significance and importance, and it has a pensions component as well as a national security component. And I refer, of course, to the situation dealing with the impending retirement of the Deputy Garda Commissioner for Policing and Security, who's going to retire most likely in March or April of next year. Unfortunately, not a single serving member of the Garda Síochána have applied for promotion to replace her. And the main reason is because if they do, they're going to get hammered from a pensions point of view. Revenue is going to absolutely nail them. And there's no financial incentive to apply for this promotion. In fact, on the contrary, there's a financial disincentive to apply. So I should start from the outset by saying I agree with the standard fund threshold. That's absolutely important. It was brought in 2014 for bankers' pay, bankers' caps. But unfortunately, this one-size-fits-all pension threshold has had unintended consequences, and it's particularly disproportionately affecting the Garda Síochána because of their fast accrual pensions. So just at a time, when you're in the senior echelons of the Garda Síochána, when you're at the peak of your powers, you don't apply for high office because you're financially disincentivised for doing so. And some of these guards, if they apply for this job, they'll be hit with up to €200,000 of a tax bill on the day they retire. So there's a massive tax bill pending if they apply for this job and if they get it. And that's the reason why not a single one of them have. So it's a big issue. It's a big issue from a workforce planning point of view, but perhaps even more important is the national security point of view. And as you're aware, Taoiseach, our Garda Síochána are unique. They have a policing function and as well as a national intelligence function. And it's very, very important that the person who applies for this job or is given this job is an Irish citizen, just like an Irish diplomat must be an Irish citizen. But unfortunately, there's only a small number of applicants and they're all from outside this jurisdiction. And it's not the way to do business. Because if you're applying for an intelligence job, the head of Irish intelligence, the assumption is that you've worked in the intelligence services and the intelligence apparatus of other countries. And that would give other countries a strategic advantage over this jurisdiction. So it's not the way to do business. So I guess my questions to you are, Taoiseach, do you accept there's a problem here, there's an anomaly here? Do you accept that it's something that we should be fixing? And how do you propose to address it in the short to medium term? Thanks very much, Taoiseach, and a few seconds back to you.
There's two issues there, I think. First of all, the financial issue, and then the security and intelligence service. I think you're suggesting, should it not be an Irish citizen? I'll come back to that. In terms of and I do understand the concerns that you've articulated in respect of the fast accrual pension scheme, which applies to Garda Síochána, and then the limit on pension funds, which has been discussed in this context, is the standard fund threshold, or SFT, which sets a lifetime maximum for tax-relieved pension contributions. And that's part of a tax system which applies generally for everybody, all pension products or schemes, both the public and private sector. Now, the Minister of Finance has indicated that an examination of the calibration of the SFT will be undertaken, and a member for information on this examination is expected to go to government shortly. And that targeted examination will require input from a range of stakeholders, including the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform, other departments. Now, the difficulty is the examination is expected to conclude by the summer of next year, of 2024. There will be a public consultation, and it would apply, any outcome of that would apply to both the public and the private sector. And basically, yes, as you know, the standard fund threshold sets a limit for the total amount of contributions into an individual's pension, and then when it's crystallised, the pension benefit, its value is assessed, and the value for the purposes of SFP depends on the annual pension benefit payable, the age at which benefits are earned, and where the value is higher than the SFT, the excess is subject to additional tax, and on top of the normal taxes at the marginal rate. So there clearly is issues here. And parallel with that, in terms of the security and intelligence service, I think we need to be just a bit cautious about making declaratory statements as to citizenship, because any candidate, any external candidate considered for appointment by government generally must be subject to security clearance, and they're notified of this in advance. Any person who's appointed to Garda Síochána is required to attest as a member and make a solemn declaration to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the state under Section 16 of the Garda Síochána Act. And ultimately, the appointments to the Office of Deputy Commissioner are made by the Government on the recommendations of the Policing Authority. It's a matter for the Garda Commissioner to determine the role and responsibilities of any particular office holder. So there is manoeuvrability there, or the Garda Commissioner can obviously take on board security and intelligence issues in respect of apportioning or allocating responsibilities to any given leadership, or any given member of the leadership team. There is an issue on the financial that you've identified. You're correct in saying why it was brought in originally. Nonetheless, I think it does merit examination. Thank you.
Thanks for that response, Taoiseach. Yes, it's quite useful actually. It appears to me that this is an acknowledgement that there is a problem, and there's an acknowledgement that the problem can be addressed. My concern, of course, is if it won't be addressed until next summer, there's probably going to be a gap in that appointment while the Deputy Commissioner retires. So I just want to flag it. It's important that it's filled, and there's a reason why not a single member of the Garda Síochána has applied for that role, and that reason, as you pointed out, is financial, and hope that can be addressed in the short term. Thanks very much, Taoiseach.
I mean, it applies to all aspects of the public service and indeed the private service, but particularly the public service at a given stage, particularly where you have fast accrual pensions systems. I will revert back to the Minister for Finance and the Minister for Justice in respect of the issues.